Next week's Michigan Democratic primary is one of the most consequential races in the country. We have who might become the first Muslim senator in US history going up against a candidate who has truly defined her campaign by her support for Israel. At a time when we have an ongoing war with a foreign country, where Americans are not able to afford basic health care or just basic necessities in general, and we're in the midst of an economic crisis, this race is a lot more than just the candidates that are running it. Sometimes certain elections are a referendum on the direction that the entire country is going. And this race is exactly that. We're not just talking about one seat, we are talking about the direction of the country as a whole. And really, where we go next. Welcome back to Amani on Air. For those who are newly tuning in, this is a show all about tapping into the ideas on the cutting edge of culture, tech, politics, and the ideas really defining the future. Today's conversation comes at a pivotal moment. In just a few days, voters in Michigan are going to head to the polls, and they're going to determine a race that's one of the most closely watched in the entire country. While the outcome of Michigan's primary might impact representation in one state, the outcome truly answers questions that extend far beyond Michigan. Like, what kind of leadership does this moment demand? What does this new generation of public service look like? And can our grassroots movements even make it to or survive in governing power? Muslims seem to be having a moment within political life, and it's been a long time coming. Our religious community has been one of the most vilified and most openly and acceptingly hated minorities in the country. And it's about time that our communities start electing our own to be the ones to lead us into this next chapter for America. And I have to tell you, I am very excited and very hopeful for our friend Dr. Abdul El-Sayed, who is currently running for the Senate seat in the Michigan primary against Congresswoman Haley Stevens. Since recording this interview, Haley Stevens has received millions of dollars more in funding from AIPAC. For those who might not already be familiar with Abdul, he is a doctor, he's a public health expert, he formerly ran for governor of Michigan, and he's a girl dad. In our conversation, as Abdul says, historically, the way Michigan goes is the way that the country goes. So the outcome of this race is going to be one that has an impact that reverberates far beyond its state lines. Abdul has spent years building coalitions in Michigan around healthcare, economic opportunity, democratic participation, and it might all really pay off. I had the opportunity to pull Abdul aside at one of his fundraisers for a very candid conversation about his race, how he's feeling, what he expects to come next, and really what his attitude has been in approaching this entire thing. And actually, by the time that you're watching this, I will be on the ground hitting the campaign trail with Abdul. I'm going to be tagging along with him for the final stretch of this incredible and breathtaking race. So stay tuned in for more conversations from the trail as this historic story unfolds. But before we get there, here's my conversation with Dr. Abdul El-Sayed. Abdul, thanks so much for joining us.
Amani, it's an honor and a privilege.
Can you tell us, why is your race so consequential for anybody watching?
Well, number one, we've all been watching the circumstances that have been leading up to this moment, whether it's our failure to provide people health care in our own country because we send our money abroad to Israel to drop bombs on other people's kids. Mm-hmm. That money should be spent here at home. I spent my career as a health director doing things like putting glasses on kids, fighting for healthcare, making sure that kids weren't being poisoned in their schools with lead. And every time you come up with a program to eliminate medical debt, people are like, well, doctor, how are you going to pay for that? I don't know, maybe if we didn't fight dumb wars, didn't subsidize genocide and apartheid, maybe we might have the money to pay for it. And we have not had representation in the US Senate that is willing to stand forthrightly from the jump on a lot of these issues in the way that we need. And I hope that I can offer that. But also, Michigan is the beating heart of American politics. Mm-hmm. And we need to prove that in a state like ours, which they call quote unquote purple, that we can fight on and win on central foundational goals like getting money out of politics, putting money back in your pocket by standing with unions, and taxing billionaires, and guaranteeing healthcare through Medicare for all, and being honest about the rights of Palestinians and our commitment and responsibility to human rights. So this race is consequential for a lot of reasons, but most of all, if you believe in an America true to our ideals where we put people up front and center and a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, then this race is a critical one.
So then, as a Muslim Arab man, do you consider yourself America first?
I do.
Yeah?
I mean, look, I'm a lot of things. I am a Muslim Arab man, but I'm a child of the Midwest, a child in Michigan, born and raised. I'm a doctor by training. I rebuilt health departments. My responsibility, all of my work has been about domestic policy, making sure that kids had glasses when they needed them, making sure that kids weren't drinking leaded water or breathing on the wrong end of a smokestack, making sure that that people weren't struggling under the weight of medical debt. And every time you want to take that on, people ask how you're going to pay for it. And meanwhile, we just spent $100 billion of our money in a war we should never have fought because Israel wanted us to. That's after subsidizing a genocide to the tune of $22 billion ongoing. That's after backstopping apartheid. And it's not just Israel that we send our money to. It's also Egypt, where my family comes from, right? Where our money has cemented the chokehold of a foreign military on its own people. So I want my money here to provide healthcare here, to provide good schools here, to build infrastructure here. And, that's why we pay our taxes. So that's what I'd like to see my taxes do. Yeah. And, it's crazy to me. I'm running against an AIPAC-funded candidate AIPAC's already spent $15 million for her after spending $10 million to help her win her election in 2022, basically won it for her. And this is somebody who's running on a campaign, literally wants to send your taxpayer dollars to a foreign government that drops bombs on other people's kids when your own kids can't go to good schools. So I'm an American. I want my money spent here in America where our kids deserve good things.
And obviously, it makes a lot of sense that you care so much about that because you're a doctor. As a doctor, public health is a top priority for you, whether at home or that our tax money is funding abroad. And we're actually on the heels of a story that's going viral right now, a national story about a 1-year-old baby that was shot by police officers in Mississippi, a Black child. Some of our audience has pointed out that it's very parallel to the story of the baby that was killed in a checkpoint in the West Bank, based off our tax dollars as well. So as a future senator, are these issues important to your platform, and how do they connect to the average American?
I mean, who are we as a society if we can't protect our kids?
Yeah.
I mean, who are we, right? And we've got a situation where you've got this militarization that ends up in a baby getting shot. There's no excuse that a baby ever gets shot in any circumstance. We exist as a society. The things that society built are about protecting kids. And meanwhile, we're sending money to other people who kill kids. It just doesn't make sense to me. And there's so much that we could be doing if we were willing to ask, how do you reorient society so that we protect the most vulnerable people? And if more of us saw our own kids in every kid, think about what society would feel like.
Totally.
I got 2 little girls at home. They're 3 and 8. And I would do anything to protect those little girls. And I hope everybody, if they saw my kids, would say, we got to protect them. Because when I see other people's kids, whether they're people in my own community, people living in a place like the South, people living in Gaza, people living in Sudan, when you see a child, you need to understand that kid's well-being is intimately tied to your own.
Obviously, a lot of times local races are a microcosm of the concerns, the interests of our country at large. In New York, we elected Zohran based off of local New York City issues.
And you got a Knicks championship for it.
We got a Knicks championship for it. We got to eliminate our deficit in this city. But even more so, he is called America's mayor. Everyone is like that. I don't live in New York, but that's my mayor, right?
What's the chant? My mayor Muslim? My bagel Jewish, my Christian Dior.
Exactly.
Or Trump killed the vibe, Nixon 5.
Exactly. Okay, so you're an honorary New Yorker. I like that.
I mean, look, I spent some time. I'm a Michigander through and through. Let's be clear.
You're a Columbia alumni.
But I did live in the city for some time.
Yeah.
And so, I'm a Michigan kid, spent some time in New York, so when good things happen in New York, I feel good about it. That being said, as long as you're not Ohio, I'm okay with it.
But see,
that's the only place that I like, I actively root against.
But like when I'm thinking about your race, I can totally see yours inspiring the interests of people far beyond Michigan. So why should people outside of your state care about what's happening in Michigan and what's happening in your race?
Well, it's because Michigan's the greatest state in the country, of course. Look, as goes Michigan, as goes the country. I mean, so much of American history happened in Michigan.
Yeah.
And Michigan is one of those 7 states that everybody pays attention to when we're electing a president. So I want you to imagine what happens when Michigan elects a guy named Abdul El-Sayed, which is my whole name, to the U.S. Senate in 2026. I want you to think about what that says to every person lining up to run for president in 2028.
Yeah.
About how you win in these blue wall states. Because we've been sold this myth that Michigan is a purple state, right? And all they've ever done is like moderate views, so they end up saying nothing at all. What happens if you actually show up and say something? And my hypothesis is a pretty good one, because Michigan went for Bernie in 2016, then went for Trump, then went for Biden, then went for Trump again. And it's either that we're so moderate and also schizophrenic, or it's that we keep going back to the buffet and not finding what we want. So I think if you were to say, hey, look, like I'm actually running against the bipartisan consensus on both sides of the aisle that tell us that corporations should be able to buy off our politicians, that tell us that we should be unilaterally supporting Israel, that tell us that you can't actually have guaranteed health care because a healthcare CEO wouldn't make enough money. I'm running against that bipartisan consensus, and you can win this way. Folks all over the country get to have a say in that. You can't vote in Michigan, but you can donate to this campaign.
Yeah.
This campaign is basically a two-way race, me versus AIPAC.
Yeah.
That's it. They've called me the most dangerous candidate for the U.S.-Israel relationship. They spent $17 million, which is more than their candidate is going to spend on the race on her own.
Yeah.
They will do absolutely whatever it takes to beat me, and I'm still going to torch the $30 million, torch the next $30 million that they spent in the general, and I'm still going to take the head off the snake. So
essentially setting a precedent for the direction the country's going in.
So like, when AIPAC watches this, come for me. See what happens. Come for me. Like, I know you keep coming, but like, you picked literally the least capable candidate in America, right? And then Chuck Schumer doubles down, and then AIPAC doubles down, and part of me is like, okay, look, if you think you can beat money out of politics, money in your pocket, Medicare for all, come. But I'll tell you what people don't want. They don't want money in a foreign government. They want money here.
Hey, the challenge is out there. You sound super confident about it. And what you're talking about isn't a pie in the sky. I mean, in Jersey, we actually just elected also a fellow Egyptian doctor there, our friend Dr. Adam Hamawi. A historic race. Does that tell you anything about like what people are wanting right now in the direction that we're going?
The mood is changing in this country.
Yeah.
People are sick and tired of being lied to.
Yeah.
They're sick and tired of being gatekept and told who they cannot vote for, what they should not fight for, what some corporation deserves over them. Mood is changing, and people are seeing the truth. And look, I was born and raised in Michigan. My dad is an Egyptian immigrant. My stepmom, who raised me as a daughter of the American Revolution. I've been explaining myself in every room I walked into my whole life. And it turns out when you actually take the time to explain yourself, people are a lot more interested in what you pray for than how you pray, a lot more interested in whether or not you care to know their name than what your name is. And they care to know, like, what are you going to do for me? And I'm coming to get you healthcare. That's the only reason I'm doing this. I want you to have healthcare. I want your money spent here. I want to make sure that our country lives on the right side of our values.
Have you been experiencing that kind of anti-Muslim sentiment?
To be honest with you, I just don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
Like, I've been called all those names before. When they come for us because of our name or our faith, they're actually coming for the vision of America that says that anybody and everybody can be a part of this place. It's more of an attack on the idea of America than it is on me.
Absolutely.
Like, my job's not to defend myself. Honestly, I was supposed to be a cab driver in Egypt, right? Like, I saw that. I lived a front row seat to like what my life should have been, but for the accident of history, that I got to be born in the greatest country in the history of the world. And I want that America to be America for all of her children. And I want us to be a place where our ideals ring true no matter where you are. And they're coming for that vision of America. And I will always defend that vision of America. Defending me? I'm good. I'm okay.
How does being a girl dad affect the way that you're running this race?
The best. I mean, look, my daughters are like, they're the levity in my life. Right? They remind me what matters the most.
They're going to keep you in check.
Yeah, they will. And they like also remind me what matters.
Yeah.
Every day I see the manifestation of the future in my girls when I get to be at home. And so it teaches you a lot about like loving beauty and joy and meaning and what we all want for our kids. And, I'm so grateful. Like last time I ran, my daughter was born in the middle of the race. This time around, I just get to go home, and my 8-year-old understands that I'm like doing this thing. My 3-year-old has no clue what's happening, and she just wants me to go read a book, or like wants to go cuddle,
Of course.
or wants to have a tea party, or.
Yeah,
And,
no matter what you are to the outside world, you're always just gonna be their dad.
So, I'm so grateful for that.
Okay, so my last question to you is, for all of the young Muslims out there that are watching your race, those that were born into this post 9/11 era, what do you hope is the lesson that they take away?
Be you, man. You got a lot to offer. And the only person who can deny you that is you. People are going to say a lot of things. But like, if you get the privilege to be the first, just remember, you're not just doing it for you, you're doing it for everybody else. We don't get to complain. I hate to say it, man. A lot of people out here being like, well, it's so hard. I'm like, imagine the privilege. You get to be the first, and you get to carry a torch, and you get to like pave a path for anybody and everybody who's ever been told that they don't belong. And to me, I could sit here and be like, well, it's not fair for this reason, it's not fair for that other reason, and people said this about me. I'm like, it's not about me. It never was. And so this is about building an America where anybody and everybody gets to thrive. And if you get to be somebody who builds into that America, what a privilege. So don't let folks dim your shine, and remember that you've got something to offer. And it turns out when you put yourself out there, you find a lot of people out there who are going to accept you and empower you and lift you up. And that's been a great joy for me. People who look like you, people who don't.
Very beautiful. Well, Dr. Abdul, inshallah, our future first Muslim senator in U.S. history.
Make dua for us. Make a contribution.
Yeah, can you remind everyone what date is your race and how can they support?
August 4th. Go to abdulforsenate.com. Sign up. $5, $10. If you haven't made a donation, just remember that donation is like right with APAC. All right, just hit them back. And then if you haven't signed up to volunteer, I hope you will. You can do that from anywhere in the country. We're phone banking. We're sending texts. And of course, if you're in Michigan, let's go knock some doors. Come see us in August. We're going to have a party in August and another party in November. So come through.
Beautiful.
We'll see you there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you so much to my friend Abdul for sitting down with me for this conversation. And it's really only just beginning. Over the next few days, as voters in Michigan head to the polls, I will be providing you all with conversations straight from the campaign trail, behind the scenes coverage, and of course, we'll be giving you all access from the election night party as we all process the results coming in together. So make sure you're subscribed to Amani on Air. Check the details for how to support Abdul's campaign because it's crunch time. And make sure you're following Muslim Girl on all social media. Let's make history.